I've been investing $60 every paycheck into 12 dividend paying stocks for the past 92 weeks, and you're about to see what it's turned into. Welcome back to the channel, or welcome to the channel if it's your first time here. My name is Troy, and when I first began my investing journey, I would see plenty of channels out there with thousands or even tens of thousands of dollars in them, and that immediately caused me to feel a little intimidated and overwhelmed. That was simply because I didn't have thousands or tens of thousands of dollars to start with, so I was stuck getting started, which is sadly where a lot of people fall off. As a creator, I wanted to see if I could do something about that, which is why I started this series. I began this portfolio from the ground up with real money and have recorded the results bi-weekly for coming up on 2 years now. If you find yourself just getting started and in the same position I was in years ago, I'll link episode 1 above so you can go back and watch that and see where this portfolio was the day it started and follow along with the journey. But now let's go ahead and refresh ourselves and see where we left off last episode. Last episode, this portfolio was at an all-time high in portfolio value and was sitting with a balance of $3,204.53. In total, the portfolio was in the green because of our stocks going up in value to the tune of $412.29, or 14.97% since starting this portfolio from $0. No matter what the market does from week to week, we remain consistent and keep investing. So let's check out the latest buys into the portfolio with this right here. All of this episode's buys took place on October 17th, 2025. Since this portfolio is now 92 weeks old and the goal is to add $5 into each stock bi-weekly, the goal amount for each of the 12 positions now sits at $235. And here you can see that we're right on track, or at least close enough to count, since Fidelity doesn't let us invest anything under $1 at a time. Now let's go ahead and zoom out a little bit and check out the overall trend of this portfolio and some bigger picture numbers right here. Looking at this chart, you can see the ebbs and flows of this portfolio all the way back to day one. Timing the market is very hard to do, and some might even say it's impossible, which is why we just do good old-fashioned dollar cost averaging every other week so we don't wind up missing out on the best days, since we don't know when they're going to happen. If you look to the far right of this chart, you can see that with episode 47, we did go down some since last episode, but you can also see that it has happened a bunch of times since beginning this portfolio, so I'm not worried about it at all. It's going to be so cool as this portfolio continues to get larger and larger and more time passes to come back to this chart and not even be able to see the downtrends we're looking at now because of all the progress being made. At the time of recording, this portfolio now has a total value of $3,180.81, and that dot for today's episode has this portfolio up $327.26, or 11.63% all time. Now I wanted to go ahead and share with you which stocks are performing the best and worst in this portfolio all time with this right here. With this update, once again, the best performer in this portfolio is Broadcom, or AVGO, that has gone up a little since the last episode and is now up $221.25, or 94.44% all time. On the other side, the worst performer in this portfolio remains Old Dominion Freight Line, or ODFL, which has actually fell a little bit more since last episode and is now down $53.96, or 22.97%. One thing I like to look at as I gather the information for these episodes is this chart that shows my cost basis over time. Simply put, any green you see on this chart means the cost basis has dropped with the most recent investment, while the red ones means the cost basis has gone up. If you want to be negative on both sides, a stock with a rising cost basis means you're investing more money to get less of that company than you did in the past, and a cost basis that is going down means that stock is likely in the red in your portfolio, so you might not be feeling too hot about that one at the current moment. Now, if you want to see the positive on both sides, a stock with a rising cost basis means that stock is doing well for you right now, and in order to get more of that great company, you need to spend a little more than your average to get on that ride. While a stock with a falling cost basis means you're getting a deal on a stock that you liked at a higher price before, meaning this new money is going to buy you more of that company than it used to. Next, I want to go ahead and share with you the passive income that has trickled into this account just since the last episode, so let's look at that right here. Over the past 2 weeks, I've gotten paid 2 times just for sitting back and doing nothing, as passive as it gets. On October 10th, I received 88 cents from Steel Dynamics, stock ticker STLD. Now, while we all know that 88 cents isn't enough to change your life, looking at this chart, you can see how this is growing with each passing payout, which you love to see. In total, STLD has now paid me $3.41, which amounts to just over 10% of the total income received in this portfolio. Lastly, on October 17th, I was sent 43 cents, this time from Intuit, or stock ticker INTU. Checking out their chart, you can see once again that each payout is larger than the last, and Intuit has now paid me a total of $1.52, which comes out to 4.53% of the total money paid in this account. On this chart, you can see that with those latest October dividends added in, we're up to $1.73, which is already 55.9% higher than last October, and we're not yet done with the dividends coming for this month. More on that later. So far for 2025, we're now at $26.31, which is already 263.4% higher than all of 2024, and we still have a little bit over 2 months left to go. One of the cool little side quests we're on with this portfolio is stacking the dividends and interest until we have enough money to do a bonus investment. Let's go ahead and see just how close we're getting to the very first bonus investment into this portfolio with this right here. Since all of the holdings in this portfolio have very different yield amounts, I didn't want them getting out of balance, so I'm holding on to all those dividends in the cash balance of this portfolio. Once that gets up to one normal investment, $60, I'll do a bonus investment of $5 into each stock, which will only help it grow that much faster. With that being said, last episode we had a bonus investment date sitting at July 13th of 2026, and now we have a new projected bonus investment date of June 29th of 2026, which is 14 days sooner than the last projection. On the screen now is a chart that shows the projected bonus investment date going back to the day this portfolio was started. Fun fact, that projection was December 6th of 2134, which is safe to say I would not be able to attend as I would be about 140 years old. Since that one is already hard and will only get harder to read, I made this chart that plots the last 10 projected bonus investment dates so we can see the progress a little bit easier. Even though the progress is slow, there is progress nonetheless, and after we know exactly how many days it took to hit that first bonus investment, we'll be off to the races to crush that for the second bonus investment. Now earlier, I hinted that we're going to have even more dividends to come to close out the month, so why don't we check on those right here. The next update to this portfolio will be on November 3rd of 2025. Between now and then, we have a few key dates to keep an eye on. Weirdly enough, we have no ex-dividend dates in either of the next 2 weeks and no dividends for the week of October 20th through October 24th, but we do have 2 dividend payments and 1 interest payment for my birthday week, which you love to see. On my actual birthday, October 28th, ALG is going to send me a present, and my favorite holiday, October 31st, better known as Halloween, HUM will be sending us money, and we'll get the interest on that bonus investment cash as we wait for that to get closer and closer. Can we have a good 2 weeks to close out October, or will the stock market cool off with the weather? Tell me what you predict down in the comments and come back in 2 weeks to find out. If you find this video or this series helpful, go ahead and tap on that like button, as that's 100% free to you and there's no strings attached, but it helps other people also find the series. Do you have any questions or suggestions for things you'd like to see in this series? Drop those in the comments down below, as I personally read and respond to every single comment. And if you're curious what this tiny portfolio could actually grow into years from now, check out my full portfolio that I share once a month on the channel. That can be seen right here. But until next time, see you.